life isn't a rehearsal, it's an interview. I don't know, some guy just told me that once. But I'm going to review the upcoming UFC fight night, Mosvar versus Lerone Murphy. Should be a pretty good fight. We're going to start off here with Mosvar. And I just had a change of mind. I'm going to actually show the fight of him versus Arnold Allen. The reason I'm showing this is because this is how I think things could play out a little bit. Arnold Allen is similar to, Lerone Murphy in terms of being much different from the way Aljo fights and like the way Diego Lopez fights, some of those guys. Yeah, Mosvar and whoa. There's a ghost in here. But yeah, Mosvar and Lerone should be a good fight. And I suppose they're saying that's who should get Volk next. I wonder how many more Volkanovski's going to fight. Who do I think has the best chance versus Volkanovski? I would personally say probably Mosvar. Probably. Just because of the grappling aspect. At this point, I don't know who can strike with Volkanovski. Besides Ilya. But I've tried to figure it out for a long time. I've thought a lot of people could get it done, honestly. I thought Diego could get it done the first time. You guys know I'm a huge Holloway fan, so I thought Max could get him every time. I thought Max did get him the second time. Third time, Max just got washed. I mean, Volk just ran away with it. Islam obviously caught him, but I mean, shit, I don't know. This is fucking crazy. Did you guys see that scrambling? Hold on. Hold up. Look at him just stay on the leg. I obviously have it sped up, but man, Arnold tried that. What was that, 4 times now? If you're a fighter or if you're a wrestler, you can't just roll. You got to hit that shoulder, and then these hips need to be trying to kick away. You got to be trying to get your hips up. Anyway, yeah, I think Mosvar has the better chance versus Volkanovski, but I still don't think he would win. But I don't know. Personally, though, I just don't know if Leron's even going to be able to keep up with this grappling pace. Because, I mean, this is crazy. But if he does, if he is able to keep up with that pace, you'll see in this fight sort of a little bit of what I mean, because Arnold Allen has very crisp kickboxing, just like Lerone does. He has very crisp elbows and kicks, just like Lerone does. Very good body work, just like Lerone. Good footwork. I don't want to say they fight similarly, but they are definitely a more closer style than anything else Mosvar usually fights. It's kind of a new thing the UFC does. If there's a grappler that the UFC doesn't like, they keep trying to give them like an equal grappler, hopefully. You know, that's what they hope for. Now, if they like him, if they like the grappler, they just fucking give him guys like Stephen Thompson and shit. You know, guys who are just going to get taken down at will. So, I might be wrong. We'll go and look at some point. But I believe Movsar has had a lot of fights with guys where they were trying to hopefully match him up with somebody where he won't just be able to maul them. And it didn't work very often. I don't remember Movsar's record, but I think he only has like 2 or 3 losses. Maybe only 1. We'll take a look at that at some point. But yeah, while this is happening, I just don't understand, for one, why they have to do a fight every single weekend. And it's kind of interesting. I used to be somebody who, man, Arnold got split bad. I used to be somebody who wanted fights constantly. Constantly I wanted fights. But now I'm realizing this shit is gonna get washed like boxing, man. There's too many fights happening that people just don't give a shit about. It's weird, like seeing the crowd and there's not people in it sometimes, which I get it. Sometimes, you know, like the prelims have kind of always been that way, but go back and watch older UFC and watch the prelims. It's kind of jumping in that bitch, bro. Like, it obviously starts to fill up a bit more. But I don't know. Nowadays, the prelims, it looks like a fucking Wizards game. Shout out Bam Adebayo. I'm a Heat fan. That shit was a terrible 83. But he's not the ref. You know? They're not playing fucking street ball, right? He's not calling his own fouls, so shit, it is what it is. But yeah, back to my point. The prelims, they seem to be dead. Nobody knows who's fighting. Nobody knows who anybody is. People just don't even like get really tuned in until shit. Sometimes the main card seems dead. Like people don't seem tuned in until sometimes the last fight or the last 2 fights. Sometimes the last 3 fights, but even like the first 1-2 fights on the main card, the crowd, the energy just isn't there. I don't know, and it's because there's just too many fights happening, and it's kind of becoming like boxing in terms of not so many weight classes, obviously, but just, which is good. We wanted more fighters in the UFC, I suppose, but I do believe that they're making it almost too easy to get into the UFC. Sometimes we've made, you know, points to it on this channel before. When we're looking up fighters, you'll look up their record, you'll click on their most recent fight. It'll be somebody who's like 12-6. Okay. You're like, well, what about before that? 0-2. You're like, okay, this dude fought somebody who's 0-2. His last 2 fights before getting a chance in the UFC. Like, what the fuck is happening, man? These guys aren't proven enough. I just don't believe that these guys are proving enough. Uh, that that fight ended kind of abruptly. I think I have this sped up too fast. That's my bad. But my point to watching that fight back was because it was a close fight. Mosvar ended up winning, but I believe it was very close and not a controversial decision by any means. But if we go back and even just look at the stats, it was close in terms of significant strikes. Arnold Allen actually outlanded Mosvar 59-51. Neither of their accuracy was great. Arnold threw 140, Mosvar threw 118. So 42%, 43%. Total strikes, Mosvar landed more, from the groundwork. 72-61. But 5 for 17 on takedown attempts. So kickboxer, Arnold Allen has good footwork and kind of move around. We saw that submission attempt that was actually decently close. So yeah, if Lerone can do this and keep up with the grappling and only give up 5 out of 17 takedowns, maybe less, I think Leron's better than Arnold. So I think Lerone could pull it off at that point, maybe even knock him out somehow. Maybe catch him after Mosvar gets tired, after maybe his game plan not really working as well, and maybe chasing and scrambling. We saw that scrambling. Maybe Lerone creates some distance after getting away at some point, and then finds the shot to crack him. If not, if Lerone can't keep up, and we'll start to see pretty soon if he's, able to get up off bottom or not, it's going to be a rough night for Lerone. And then it'll be Mosvar versus Alex, and I think Volkanovski will just probably just move around the cage and stay on his bike way too much. I think Volkanovski has some of the best footwork in the game. I think he cuts off the cage very well. I think he changes angles on you, changes stances on you. Volk's one of the GOATs for a reason. And Mosvar isn't really that great on his feet. And Volk has good grappling. Like I just said, uses the octagon, uses all of the space very well, is very fast, has very good clinch work. Yeah. I think Volkanovski could probably just keep fucking anybody up in this division until he wants to. Bro could be the LeBron of this shit, man. Damn. But yeah, no, that I don't want to watch anything else of Mosvar, because I feel like Leon and Arnold Allen is the closest thing I could show you to similarities for them in terms of guys that Mosvar has fought. Let me go through his record real quick just to see. I was tripping earlier. Mosvar is undefeated. I thought Mosvar lost one. Interesting. Yeah, he's been doing this shit in the UFC since 2019. That's how you know he's a grappler the UFC does not fuck with. Yeah, I don't think there's anything worth showing you guys. Uh-oh. He did fuck up Diego Lopez. Should we watch that real quick? That was in 2023, though. Which at this point, shit, brother, time's flying. We're already in 2026, man. About to be fucking April before you know it. God dang, again. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I want to show you guys from Movsar. Let's take a look at let's take a look at something from Lerone Murphy. Maybe kind of help us make our verdict. That's the other thing too. Lerone hasn't really fought anybody, if I'm being honest with you. So that's a bit scary, I suppose. He has some good wins, don't get me wrong. But just in terms of how long Movsar has actually been in the UFC, he's fought some good people versus, you know, Leron's fought an old-ass Josh Emmett, and he couldn't even finish him. We just saw an older Josh Emmett just get fucking destroyed. I mean, Aaron Pico, everybody was, not everybody, but a lot of people were all high up on him. I knew that shit wasn't gonna play out the way that anybody was thinking. Yeah, we'll go ahead and watch that for a second, I suppose. I do have this fast as fuck, my bad. And I suppose I was skipping through some stuff also. So don't copyright me, YouTube. I was skipping through a bunch of shit. Let's do 1.25 instead. Let's get to it. Let's get straight to it. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure my pick is my pick, which is kind of, it's two-sided. It's not really it's not really a pick. But my point is that if Lerone can do similarly to what Arnold Allen did and Diego Lopez, as to just not getting mauled and giving up every takedown, I think Lerone has a chance to catch him on his feet. And not just like, I'm not just saying like a fucking, you know, a wishing chance. Like he actually has a good chance to catch him on his feet. But he has to keep up. He has to keep up with that pace, and he has to keep up with the grappling. And if you see here, Pico was a grappler, obviously. So, you know, this is a good little attempt here. Hold on. This is actually, I forgot any of this even happened in this fight. So maybe this is a great fight to actually watch. So yeah, in this type of scenario with Movsar, he's going to really have to push the pace, and he's going to have to keep up. He's really cranking on that overhook. That was nice. I think he's trying to dig an underhook on the other side. That's nice. So that's good clinch work. Okay, gets off on the... See, but he's not really getting away from the cage. And at this point, I mean, Pico took a while to shoot. He tried to get in with the punches first before shooting. As you saw with Movsar versus Arnold, Movsar will just dive in on the single legs. He doesn't give a fuck. Okay, so if you get to this point with Movsar, he's probably going to be better here than Pico is. But let's see how Murphy works. I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot that this is how this played out. I thought that this was a quicker finish for Murphy. If you didn't know anything about this fight, I'm sorry. But yeah, that's what happens. Again, getting in on the legs. Not digging a whizzer. Not digging an underhook in at all. But he does do a good job with the whizzer, and he cranks on it. Again, cranking on the whizzer. Hard. That could be damn near a submission sometimes if it really gets caught at a certain angle. So pretty good grappling defense. Pretty good clinch work in terms of hand positioning, arm positioning. Fighting the grips, fighting the ties. Pretty good stuff. He really cranks on that motherfucking whizzer. I like to see that. But see how much he's staying up on the cage here versus Pico? Again, like I'm saying, I didn't believe in Pico. Fucking Movsvar is not Pico, brother. So that could be a problem. If you want to stay that, oh my gosh, that shit is, every time that I see it, that shit is impeccable. Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying though. If he could push the pace, fight the hands from Movsvar in terms of clinch work, in terms of Movsvar trying to get in on the legs. Pico kept trying to shoot doubles. Movsvar is going to be shooting singles. So we'll have to see, we'll have to see Leron's work from there. Cranking on that whizzer was good to see. I just don't think staying up against the cage so much is going to work against Movsvar's grappling. It could be dangerous. But if he sets something up like this and he's able to keep getting up on Movsvar, and Movsvar decides to maybe reset kind of and try to close the distance with his hands, kind of like Pico did here, Leron could very well set something up and crack his ass. But let's go back and watch this, because, man, it's beautiful. Again, Herb Dean getting in there late, man. Good stuff there. Leron got shot in the face. That's crazy. Also off topic, but I just saw that. If you can read that right there. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna look at for that fight. That's my pick. So take whatever you believe in more. If you believe in Movsvar's grappling, take Move. If you believe Leron can kind of do a little bit of what Arnold Allen did, believe that Leron will catch him on his feet. Moving on. All right, moving on to Luke Riley versus Aswell. Luke Riley is Paddy Pimblett's boy, who almost lost in his UFC debut, but then ended up coming back for a sick win. And we're looking at that right now. So obviously, good grappling being Paddy's boy, but Shout out UFC Chronicles. But I don't need all that. I mean, these are small little clips, but his grappling really doesn't look that crazy. Look at this dude. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't believe in the UK regional scene at all. And there's not a full fight of his first fight in the UFC. So I don't know what to tell you about him. Scousers don't get knocked out, I suppose. We'll see. Was he fucking fighting, though? Something, freaking Aswell something. I know he's beaten, who's he beaten? I know he beat Lucas Almeida, right? Oh, and that's all he beat. Okay, so yeah. He lost his first fight. Let's go look at that, because I don't remember that fight. Shout out Fight Club. So this is Oki versus Aswell. Baloji Oki versus Michael Aswell. Oswald. I don't know, man. Not good with pronunciation. I'm surprised I even just said that correctly. This looks like a war, though. Let me go look at the stats of this fight. It was a war. Holy. They both threw 300 strikes apiece. What card was that on? Gamrot versus Klein? I don't remember that card. What the hell? Yeah, I don't remember that card at all. But, they're going at it. Oh, cracked him with an uppercut right at the end of the round. Oswald has a good straight right hand. Yeah, he's connected on that a few times. He pops that jab as well. starts with the 2 a lot. Switches it up with an often double jab. And then to the 2. Oswald has some decent striking and footwork, but he's never sent down on any of his strikes. None of these are coming off very powerful. Oki here is just walking him down. And he's getting cracked with shots, but it just must not be, he just must not respect the power. I mean, you see his head getting snapped back a little bit, but I don't know. He must just not be feeling it, or he just doesn't give a shit. He's just a brawler. He's cracking him, though. Right now, round 2, 41-45 in significant strikes. He cracked him there, though. I don't know if that was a drop. Oh, he got hit right on the chin. Good check hook there by Oki. Good jabs, double jabs. Another, he pops that jab out on that too quick. Fucking Aswell does. I almost called him Aswell again. Yeah, this is a war. I don't recall this fight. I don't recall this card at all. Must have missed this one. Dude, he does have a good 1-2. Look at that. It's almost all he has. I haven't seen a kick yet from Oswald. Good hands though, man. He's got good hands, and he has good hands floating backwards. This whole fight, he's been pretty much floating backwards, getting his strikes off, but he's getting cracked for sure, and he ends up losing this fight. Just based on that didn't look very clean at all. That was very telegraphed, even in 1.25 speed. That's crazy. Good 2 again. Good 2 again. Good 2 again. Everything he's landing is this 1 and this 2. But yeah, he's got nothing with his kicks. His footwork isn't very. Ooh, goodness. Oh gosh. His footwork's not very great. He just stays on his bike, but he's not really cutting off angles very well. He's not getting in and out. He's not really ever sitting on his punches and then exiting the pocket and then getting back in the pocket. So that was that guy's first fight in the UFC. But then he faces he faces Lucas Almeida. And he looks much better. And of course, UFC is stingy with their fights. They're so fucking annoying, man. Like, my goodness. Like, fighters would be more known if their fights were out there, bro. Like, this dude has a first-round knockout over Lucas Almeida, and Michael Oswald can't get any love here. Shout out to Fight Club for, let's just look at this. That's not what I clicked on. All right, let's just look at this. Subscribe to Fight Club. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, moving on. That was brutal. That fight, I don't know, man. Take Luke Riley for fun, I guess. Dude, I don't know. I don't know about them boys. 2 prospects, I suppose. Luke Riley trains with Patty. Did Patty get fraud checked versus Justin? I don't think so. I thought it was a good war. I just don't think Justin was ready for all that. Or not Justin, Patty. And for Michael Oswald, I mean, yeah, I don't know. He's young, he's fresh, he's green. They're both green. We'll see. The stadium, Luke Riley does have hometown crowd. That could play a factor. And either way, could get to his head, could hype him up. I mean, what, he probably comes from Cage, what is it, Cage Fury, or I don't know what it's called, but he probably comes from that organization over there in the UK, so yeah, it probably won't get to his nerves. We'll go with Luke Riley, because he's going to be in his hometown. Crowd's going to be fucking jumping for him. We'll go Luke. Moving on to MVP. What are they doing to this man? UFC, what are you doing to Michael Venom Page? Is there something I'm missing? Is he not winning fights the way I'm seeing him? Or like, I just don't understand. He's 24-3. His UFC record is very good. He walked all over Cannonier, walked all over Magomedov, freaking fraud checked him, right? Freaking fraud checked Shara, who was supposed to be this crazy striker, got dog walked, lost a close fight to Ian Gary, who the UFC just loves. They just love Ian. Lost a close fight, made Ian want to start grappling. Oh, I train with Charles Oliveira sometimes. Fucking Ian Gary. Dog walks Kevin Holland. And then that's his UFC record. So 1 loss in the UFC. 3 unanimous wins and 1 close loss to Ian Gary. Who's he fighting? Fucking some dude from England that nobody knows. Sam Patterson. Sure. He's got 2 KOs in the UFC. Sure. I get it. It's cool. It's cool stuff. It's fun to watch. I get it. All right? For some reason, the UFC seems to be transitioning or trying to into like UK England boys. Not sure why. Maybe it's a little like, I don't know, tag on from Ireland, kind of, is what the UFC's hoping for. I don't know. They were fucking with Russia for a little bit, but then now that I think Trump's back in office, you know, can't love the Russians too much, right? And sometimes they're boring and they're not even trying to learn English, right? So they're just mauling most people and then not even hyping up anybody on the mic ever. So, I don't know. Seems like UFC's trying to market towards the UK a little bit. Sam Patterson is from London, I believe, or I don't know, somewhere around them ends. But the 2 knockouts are versus fellers that nobody knows. Danny Barlow and Trey Waters, both 9-2. Yes, first round knockouts in both of them. This is MVP, man. Michael Venom Page has been fucking fighting for a long time and been whooping ass for a long time. Good people, too. Good people. Not just some Bellator chump. He fought some good people in Bellator. The UFC doesn't seem to like MVP or something. I don't know. They drop him. He fights between welterweight and middleweight pretty often, bounces back and forth. They're giving him, a good prospect, but somebody with no name. I do believe Sam Patterson is very talented. It just nothing comes from this if MVP gets a good win, or if he gets even if he gets a crazy finish, or which we haven't seen a finish from Michael Page in a while. But regardless of how he ends up winning, that win over somebody that not a lot of people are going to know the name of, Sam Patterson, what does that really do for Michael? Not much. And his last win was a guy in the top 10, Jared Cannonier, who he walked all over. He fraud-checked Shara's striking. Everybody was saying Shara Bullet was this crazy striker. He completely dismantled him. Completely dismantled Kevin Holland. Lost a close fight to Ian Gary. Made Ian Gary want to start wrestling. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why they're setting him up with Sam Patterson. Sam Patterson has 4 finishes in a row. He did get knocked out his first fight in the UFC after the Contender Series, but since then he got 2 submissions in a row, and then now 2 knockouts in a row. So he's on a 4-fight win streak. He's fighting with the home crowd, but so is MVP as well. And I imagine the crowd will probably be in Michael's favor, but I don't know over there in the UK, I guess, how they root for him. I would assume he would be the favorite, But I think it's going to be a lot closer of a fight than people think. At least from what I've seen, a lot of people seem to be picking Sam, and I'm actually going with the opposite. Sam does have really good grappling, which could be a problem for MVP, but I just think Michael's going to be able to just keep the distancing, stay on his bike, his feints, his stance switches, his constant head movement and making Sam miss. It's a small, I guess they both kind of have about the same sample size in terms of UFC, which is kind of interesting. But obviously MVP's been fighting a long time, right? We know what he's capable of. But if you look at Sam's significant strike percentage in the UFC, it's actually not very great compared to MVP. And so I think that could be a problem for him. And if he's not, he's also when you watch him, he's also very flat-footed. He does have crisp boxing, but it's very flat-footed and rooted. And so MVP is going to just float. He's going to float around the cage. He's going to cut off angles. He's going to make him miss a lot. He's going to counter. I think he's going to make Sam take some bad shots, like from out far, just trying to dive in on a single leg or something. And we know MVP doesn't really get taken down that way. Now, if Sam can get MVP in the clinch game up on the cage, he'll probably manhandle MVP a little bit. But yeah, unpopular opinion, I'm going to be going with Michael Venom Page on this one. Probably in a similar fashion to all of his wins in the UFC. He's just going to count them up and win on the scorecard. He's just going to play a game of chess, and he's not going to get touched much, and he's just going to touch you up a little bit and might rock him a couple times. I think he'll do a good job of staying away from the clinch. I think Michael Venom Page is actually pretty good in the clinch when it's not up against the cage. When he's able to throw that elbow kind of over the top without being so worrisome about a takedown coming without being able to scramble. When you're up on that cage like that, there's nowhere to scramble, you know. So as long as MVP can stay in a range where it's his range, his distancing, and or as long as he can stay in a spot of the cage where he's still able to scramble and not get caught up in a wedge of the cage or something like that, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna be going with MVP on that one. Actually, we're not gonna watch much. Yeah, we're not gonna watch anything. Actually, I don't know why I said watch much. I don't think there's any reason to watch MVP. You guys know MVP, and it's pretty easy for you guys to go find Sam Patterson's 4 finishes in a row in the UFC. So take that for what it is. Moving on to a feller's name that I do not actually know how to pronounce. You know what? We'll go back to that one. Yeah. Whoever's fighting Austin Lane. I don't know what that guy's name is, but he's probably going to knock out Austin Lane. One of the Taffa brothers knocked out fucking Austin Lane. So, and I do know that this guy has like 2 or 3 knockouts in a row in the UFC since coming in. But yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his name. IWO. So we're going to move on from that one because I want to go watch some fights of him and hear the announcer say his name. But moving on to Christian Leroy Duncan then. I want you to notice right off the bat, elbow. The first strike he throws is this elbow. Look, elbow. Now ready again. Elbow, 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 and then now uppercuts. I don't know when this fight was in his career, but even in the UFC, he's been very, very dangerous with his elbows. And I actually think that is one of his best weapons from what I've seen of this Leroy Duncan guy. Because I just don't think people utilize the elbows enough. They're very sharp. They're very hard. They slice you up open. They're very damaging. They're quick strikes. They're hard to see. And there's just not enough fighters that really utilize them. I believe... Damn. Okay, so yeah, this is who this guy is, man. Elbows and some flashy shit, because I believe he's coming off of 2 spinning heel kicks in a row. 2 spinning heel knockout kicks in a row in the UFC. And so this is early on in his career, obviously, in Cage Warriors. But, man, beautiful placement on that. Beautiful placement on that one. Flying knee right off the bat. So, yeah, he's flashy, man. He has power. Like I said, he utilizes his elbows very well. And he's going to be fighting Roman Dalduzzi, who hasn't been looking very great as of late. As you see there, Christian Leroy does... Man, he fucking has a good flying knee. That's good timing on that shit. He's got some grappling as well. And so if that's going to be Roman's game plan, just launches that axe kick that was very fast into the flying knee. This guy is athletic, all right? This guy is athletic. I have a feeling Roman's not going to be able to just take him down at will. And Roman hasn't looked great recently. So versus an up-and-comer fighting in his town that just throws crazy shit like this, I think he's probably due to knock out Roman if I had to guess. Yeah, that's my pick there. We're not even going to watch anything of Roman. Let's go figure out who this guy is, because seriously, I can't say his name. to save my life. What the fuck is happening? I'm trying to see. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was about to say, man, that guy wasn't landing much. He was just throwing a bunch after this. What drops him in the what strike drops him in the clinch right here? Is it like a short right uppercut? Bro, he just falls. It's got to be a short right hand uppercut because the left hand is just on that collar tie. Then he gets dropped. This guy just starts winging shots, not really hitting much. We were pausing all the way through, kind of seeing this guy roll strikes, and then there that is, a check hook. Beautiful. Yeah, he was rolling with a lot of those strikes and then landed that nice check hook. Holy bro. This guy Aslan has only thrown hooks for the last 30 seconds or more. They're just fighting is what Daniel Cormier said. Man, you're right, brother. That is what they're doing. Dude, he's got a good check hook. He's got a very, very good check hook. He slightly switches stances to a point where you can't really even see, you don't see it. You see that? Watch the feet here, okay? So from our angle, left leg lead, left leg lead, right? Okay, now he's just backing up here. Rolling, 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 rolling still. Block that one, rolling. Now look, that's a beautiful block counter. And the reason I'm saying it's a check hook is because the stance isn't fully switched yet, but you notice he's almost standing feet together. Not together, separated, but even. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't really have a lead foot at the moment. So that means that either hook is a check hook. If he throws this hand, that's a check hook. But this hand also, which he does throw, is also appearing as a check hook because he doesn't have that. He doesn't have a lead foot and he doesn't have that cocked back for it to be a straight right or a big looping hook. So it's coming from down here with his feet parallel. Yeah, parallel. And he's throwing it there. So that he's just throwing a check hook. And we saw that earlier, about 5 seconds earlier, he landed that as well. So I like seeing that. The way he's rolling here. And then boom. Yeah, I like seeing that a lot. Yeah, I like seeing that. Berneski is it sounded like what they said, but I'm still wondering about this first name. Let's call him Iwo. Nah, that didn't sound right. I don't know. Barneski is who we're rolling with. He's going to sleep Austin Lane. Like I said, one of the Toffer brothers slept Austin Lane, man. Come on. And those guys, they stink. So it is what it is. I'm not sure how that guy Austin Lane is even still in the UFC. I think he was a football player at one point, maybe. Or maybe that was Greg Hardy. Or maybe that's both of them. I don't know. There's been a few cats in the UFC that came from football. And then we talked about Curtis Campbell. Oh, wait, no, we didn't. Well, hell yeah, let's talk about Curtis Campbell. Because I'm pretty excited for him. No lie. Pretty excited for Curtis Campbell. And I feel as if he's getting kind of set up to jump off the main card with a knockout. You know what I mean? Get the crowd bumping right away. Get everybody jamming. Get the blood flowing for everybody. Get the goosebumps shooken off for everybody, because he's fighting Danny Silva, who I believe is coming off of a knockout loss. I believe. We'll look into that. We will. But yeah, let's take a look at some Curtis Campbell stuff. Shout out to that channel. Or what is that? Oh yeah, AZHMH. Shout out your channel, brother. To be honest though, I don't want your music. Sorry. All right. Is this photos? Maybe I don't want the video at all then. See what's up with this. Not liking the hair. Yeah. Not a fan of the hair in this fight here. We should have just braided that up or something. But let's move along. See, so my only problem is with watching some of the prospects and their up and coming, like their fights when they were up and coming, like through the regional scene. It just, who are they fighting? You know what I mean? Like, you got no idea if they're fighting somebody with good, that even trains well, you know, or, I mean, like, this guy seems to have zero defense on bottom whatsoever. It seemed like he had zero wrestling whatsoever. Like, you know, I'm not really aware of just who these people are sometimes, or ever. And so then it gets hard to determine what their skill really is. The Pink Panther is a problem, UFC Fight Pass says. That was pretty crisp striking there. Measuring each other out here. Looks like this guy Alexis already has some bruising on his eye, so Curtis must have done some good work in round one. Oh, beautiful teep kick is what shut him down there, huh? See, but then that's also what I'm saying. Who's this Alexis guy? How hard are you training that a teep kick is what's shutting you down? I understand we've seen it hurt people in the UFC, but personally, I've never seen a teep kick make anybody lose in the UFC, personally. But pretty good, I guess. I mean, the closest I suppose we got was when O'Malley hit Merab with it in their first fight, like round 4 or 5 or whatever. But even still, you know, Merab just backed up and just created distance and shook it off eventually. His teep is really, really crisp, though. He throws it very fast. Yeah, even in this fight, he's already popped it off like 4 or 5 times. Good work. Leg kick. I was going to say he's got very good, very fast reactive legs. You see him bounce out of the pocket a lot and then pop that leg kick. So he looks crisp, man. He does. But like I said, you got to be wary of, you know, we don't know who the hell these people are that he's fighting in the regional scene. And I'm trying to see something. There we go. Let's see this. Was that not illegal? He's got a hand down. Is that not the... Can y'all see that? That dude's hand is down. Or maybe it's floating and it's just a weird angle. Kind of from that angle, it did kind of look like it maybe came up a little bit. All right, well, that's how he won to get in the UFC. I'll tell you what, bro, looks like a fucking pud. But he's obviously not. Yeah, like I said, I feel like he's being set up to kind of jump off the main card and go get a knockout. Shout out Black Boss. No views. I got you, brother. Providing you with it right now. Except, is this just one? I thought you were showing me more. What is happening? These are just pictures and shit? Brother. Well, fuck. Hopefully that counted as a view for you, Black Boss. Like I said, man, they UFC is just so stingy with their fights. It's actually incredible. It's actually quite incredible. Yeah, we're not gonna look too much into it, I suppose. We're going with Curtis Campbell. They set him up to start off the card on fire, get it going with a knockout, and then we're gonna go into Roman and Christian Leroy, and that's gonna bounce off to Christian Leroy, a little spread onto him, and he's gonna knock out Roman, And then that's going to go into Ewo versus Austin Lane. That's also going to rub off on him. He's going to sleep Austin Lane. And then we're going to get into the real fight with MVP and Sam Patterson. And then Lerone Murphy versus Movsvar. So recap. We're taking Lerone. We're taking Lerone if he can hopefully keep up with the tempo and stay on his bike and keep his back off the cage. If he does get his back on the cage, he needs to dig his underhooks and or that whizzer that he was working and he was cranking on it against Pinto. If he's able to execute that and just not get absolutely just taken down at will, I believe he can get it done. Most definitely. Funny thing is, if Movsvar does get it done, I'm not even sure if that guarantees him a shot versus Volkanovski. Just because, like I've been saying, the UFC does not seem to fuck with him. I think they'd probably give it to Gene Silva, if I had to guess. So, I don't know. That could be tough for Movsvar, man. That would be shitty. And then we're going to go ahead and actually take... I haven't looked at any of the money lines, but just based on what I'm seeing, and it might just be UK biased, but... Well, no, that doesn't even make sense because MVP... So, yeah, I don't know. What I'm seeing, people seem to be taking Sam Patterson. So, I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the grappling aspect. Maybe it's the 4-win streak. I don't know. But to me, MVP still has it. He's still crisp on his feet. He still has amazing footwork, probably some of the best footwork in mixed martial arts that we've ever seen. His in and outs, his head movement, his funkiness, just his rhythms, his off beats, just everything. And I just think it'll be way too much for Sam. I don't think Sam is experienced like that, man. Not for what he's about to see versus MVP. And you also can't find anybody to mimic that in training either. Nobody is MVP. So I think he'll get it done. I think Michael will get it done. I really do. What's the one after that? We got Roman versus, or no, we go, which one does it do? Ewo. Yeah, we already told you guys. You're good, man. You guys know. But yeah, man, that's it on this upcoming card. I am excited for it, actually. The prelims are pretty good. Some fighters that I'm excited for in the prelims in some fights is Mason Jones versus Axel Sola. I'm pretty excited for that one. I think both of those guys are talented, and I think they could put on a good showing. Nathaniel Wood versus Losine Kita. I think it will be a very good showing from either one, or maybe just an absolute scrap from both of them. I think Mario Pinto versus Felipe Franco should be interesting. Two prospects. Two guys I'm also pretty excited for. And then Sutherland versus Brando should be pretty sick as well. And Brando, I'm pretty excited for Brando. I think he could be really, really good. But we'll see. We'll have to see versus Sutherland. Sutherland does have some experience to him. So we'll see. But I'm excited for the card. And London's always jumping. Anytime there's a card in London, the stadium's always absolutely jumping. So that'll be fun. The crowd will be fun. With how many fighters there are from the UK on the card, that'll be fun. A little UK versus UK crime with Sam Patterson versus MVP. That'll be fun. And obviously, Movsvar and Lerone should be very, very interesting. So yeah, I'm excited overall. I'm excited, and hopefully you are too. Drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of my picks. Let me know who you're rolling with. Let me know if you think I'm completely wrong. And yeah, man, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.